We got some new Switch Online updates in a year where they've actually been pretty good to us, and we've got multiple scuttlebutts we need to dive into about Nintendo presentations that I have thoughts on. Plus, a game got canceled and is now coming back. Oh gosh. Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. When the mug gets stuck on the headphone cord, you know it's a special day. My kitten might come join us in a little bit. He does like to be here while I record. But in the meantime, what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Deliver Us the Moon is finally being delivered to Switch 4 years after it was canceled. This game was initially announced for Switch, and then they were like, dude, due to all the COVID pandemic stuff, we just cannot make the Switch port at this time. It came out on other platforms, it came out on Steam, and then the Switch version just vanished. It got sent off into space. But now it's coming back, and this is what I'd call like an evolved walking sim. It's not just a walking simulator, it is a story-driven third-person game with some puzzles and exploration about saving humanity from extinction as things on the moon go haywire. I have not played this one, but it looks very, very good. It has a lot of very positive reviews on Steam, and I will definitely be checking it out when it does hit Switch, provided the performance is not awful. But we don't have a release date for this game, just that, hey, it's coming. I'd imagine it's soon. If they're going to announce this after canceling it, it's got to be like a near release, something that should drop in 2024. Maybe you've heard of this game, maybe you've seen it on other platforms, maybe you even remember when it was initially canceled, but good to have it back, coming to Switch sometime soon. Now, what's not coming is a big presentation from the rumors we have out there, at least not the ones that I've been seeing. I've seen two things pop up where people are speculating maybe Nintendo has something really big to share with us, and I just want to kind of put some water on those flames before anyone gets too excited. I think right now it's really important to exercise caution with Nintendo because they clearly are being very cautious. We've got their May 7th investors call coming up right around the corner, and they have not announced really anything new, even though we expected them to. So if Nintendo is comfortable going to an investors call with nothing new, like, we just gotta wait and see. I don't know what they're up to. I don't know why there's delays. The indie world I thought was cool, but nothing major has been happening. That's why when I see that Nintendo announced a Nintendo Live event in Australia for the end of August and the beginning of September, I say pump the brakes. This is not Nintendo getting an event on the calendar so that they can show off the Switch 2 or show off a ton of games or have a big presentation, a huge hurrah. This is Nintendo being Nintendo. This is the Nintendo that did mall tours. This is the Nintendo that likes to bring their games to places, even if they're all old games. And Nintendo does like to expand across the globe, and therefore a Nintendo Live event in Australia where locals can come and play a bunch of already existing Switch games, it makes not much sense from our standpoint, but it makes a lot of sense from Nintendo's standpoint because this is what they've always done. They like to just sort of have their games out there. They're a family-friendly company, and they want to just be prolific in the way that they like to be prolific. They're not going to announce the Switch 2 in Australia. They're not going to bring 6 new games to this Nintendo Live event. They've had multiple Nintendo Lives in the past. Some have been canceled, unfortunately, due to threats, which is crazy. This one in Australia is not going to be a huge deal. Remember, Nintendo is skipping Gamescom in late August, therefore they probably don't have anything huge tied around the time of late August to early September. They could still very well have a Direct next month, or in June, or in July, but it's not going to be at this Nintendo Live event. And similarly, even though the Nintendo store in New York posted that their second floor will be off limits on Thursday, aka tomorrow, aka April 25th, it's not because they're having a secret Switch 2 reveal. It's not because there's a secret Direct. It's probably for, I don't know, maybe an executive has a birthday party. Or maybe they reserved it for a Paper Mario trailer. I don't know. It's not anything humongous. If Nintendo is going to bring us a big deal, it will be via their official channels, and it will be ceremoniously announced just in the same fashion that most of their other presentations are. Now, if it's like, hey, we're working on Switch 2, that could just post at any time. If it's, hey, we've got this eShop game, sort of like Kirby's, what was that big eating one called? Kirby rolls over the strawberries. Kirby jumps and swallows the donuts. I don't know. It was an eShop game with Kirby that lasted for like 3 days, and then everybody forgot about it. But if they're going to do something like that, yeah, they can just, boom, put it on Twitter. But A new console announcement, trailer, games presentation, direct, that stuff's not happening on the second story of Nintendo NYC, at least by itself, and it's not happening at Nintendo Live in Australia in late August, early September. So unfortunately, as crazy as this feels, we're just in a huge wait and see mode. It's like musical chairs, except the music, we can't even tell if it's going on. Hello, Nintendo, are you in there? Are you doing anything? Are you not? We don't know. And unfortunately, my best advice to you right now, expect nothing and be glad when something happens. Something will happen, but we have no clue when it's going to happen or how it's going to take shape or what's going to actually occur. So maybe just enjoy some games that are out right now, not from Nintendo, aka stuff like Another Crab's Treasure that's dropping this week. That one is a lot of fun. I've been playing it on PC, and as long as it runs well on Switch, a great time. And then we also have Paper Mario coming in less than a month. So check those out. Or you can check out Nintendo Switch's new online drop that they announced late last night. This is, I think, a cool, fun drop. It's not bringing the biggest titles that you might have hoped for, and there is a glaring hole in Nintendo's online strategy, in my opinion. But for the most part, 2024 has been pretty full. Like, they've been regularly releasing Switch Online games for different platforms, and this time we get two N64 titles, Extreme G and Iggy's Wreckin' Balls. Two titles I've heard of but have not played. Extreme G is a crazy futuristic racer, kind of like Wipeout, and then Iggy's Wreckin' Balls, I don't know. This is like a racing game but vertical. To me, this is like worse Uniracers. They should bring back Uniracers. A Uniracers remaster, a like 2D HD Uniracers would be sick as all heck. Remember, Uniracers was that Super Nintendo game that got pulled because they stole from Pixar. Anyhow, Uniracers is one of my classic favorites, and I would much rather have that than Iggy's Wreckin' Balls, but somebody loved Iggy. Somebody loved Wreckin' Balls with Iggy. Somebody loved Extreme G, and it's two new N64 games added to the service in a move that they should be making more often. Now, the glaring hole that I was talking about is not NES, SNES, or N64. It is Game Boy Advance. They continue to give us one or none Game Boy Advance games per month, and that's a platform that has a humongous catalog, and it's currently the smallest catalog on Switch Online. So the discrepancy here is huge. The ability to impress us is massive, and Nintendo's desire to do so remains very, very, very low. Why not give us a few Game Boy Advance games a month, especially in a month where there's no major Nintendo first-party title like this month? I don't understand. The Switch is nearing the end of its life cycle, okay? They've sold 140 million units. Who are we trying to impress? Who are we trying to woo? What money are we trying to make that hasn't already been made? Could you just build some good fan service, fan favor, and give us a bunch of GBA games, a big pack, 10 GBA games, fun ones, something for us to play, nostalgically reflect on, enjoy for a little bit? Come on. I know that they want to save Nintendo Switch Online to carry over into the next generation, and we're probably going to be sitting here a year from now like, I wonder what Nintendo is going to release first on Switch 2 for GBA, because it's one game every few months, but it's just kind of silly. Like, the Switch 2 Virtual Console should honestly incorporate GameCube games. It honestly should incorporate DS games. It should be moving us forward quickly, and yet, more realistically, we will have like 15 Game Boy Advance games and still have 100 to go through. We won't have all the N64 games we want. We won't have all the SNES games we want. Nintendo has been speeding up, but they're still very, very slow. And in a year that feels incredibly slow, in a year that sees a lot of audibles, since this is basically just emulation, I can't really understand why they wouldn't just, give us a ton, try to get those Switch Online subscriptions. That still makes them money, and it makes us happy. But this just shows that Nintendo operates like a business always. They don't operate like your friend. They don't operate like a good guy. They operate like a business. And it's sort of the part about Nintendo that makes me sad. They never want to do too much. They always want to do the minimum. They never want to give us the coolest crossovers or the greatest games back to back to back or the coolest deals, the packages, or the best, biggest online releases. They want to do it how they do it, dole it out slowly, and make sure they max us for our money, our time, our devotion. Not to be a huge bummer, but in a year where Nintendo's slow, I just think they should be speeding up with these releases. Nonetheless, it's good to get two more N64 games. Deliver Us the Moon is coming to Nintendo Switch, and we've got these events that don't mean much. So we're in a holding period. We're waiting. Paper Mario is coming. Luigi's Mansion is coming, and something else is coming from Nintendo. They will have an event soon. We just got to be patient. It is the most trying time in my opinion, since the Switch launched. I think this is the slowest, most bizarre, weirdest time Nintendo has had. It really means and makes sense to me that there was an internal delay of Switch 2 because they haven't been this odd ever in the last 7 years. Even during COVID, they had regular presentations, even though they were a little bit small, even though they were a little bit, short on new releases. This is just bizarre. And the leakers aren't saying anything right now. It is all quiet on the Nintendo front, except for Iggy and his wrecking balls. So let me know if you're going to download either of those two titles in the comments down below. Do you have the patience to wait? Sometimes I feel like I do, sometimes I feel like I don't. But for now, we got no choice. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. And until next time, SwitchForce out.